than advertised.
Oh, all righty, John. Let's stick around, though, because we're going to bring in our panel, talk more about all these issues with Bill Press. He's former chairman of the California Democratic Party and Sirius radio talk show host. Jonathan Alter is columnist at Newsweek and NBC News analyst, author of The Defining Moment. And Terry Jeffrey is editor of Human Events. Terry, I want to start with you. All this conciliatory talk, is this really what we want? When I interviewed Milton Friedman, he said the best form of government is divided. That means they can't spend our money. I said, well, wait, the Republicans are supposed to be the party that doesn't spend money. And he says, all politicians are the same. They get in office and they're going to start writing checks. Wouldn't we rather have divided government? I mean, how long is this honeymoon going to last?
Well, we want government that lives under the Constitution, and unfortunately the Republicans didn't. But no, what the president has been saying in the last couple of days is bad news, particularly for fiscal conservatives. He says he wants to raise the minimum wage, which is, of course, one of the Democratic priorities. They're going to do that. That's going to hurt employment. That's going to hurt small business. Secondly, he wants to reauthorize his No Child Left Behind Act, which originally was co-sponsored by Teddy Kennedy, has led to more than doubling of federal education spending. Education isn't even a federal authority under the Constitution. The biggest problem, though, is this, that the president wants to do Social Security reform. A couple of weeks ago, I was on this very program. Tony Snow was on before me, and Larry said that he had heard that Henry Paulson, the Treasury Secretary, had been talking with members of Congress about entitlement reform. The administration might be willing to raise up the top income tax rate as well as increase the amount of income subject to the payroll tax. And I'll tell you something, President Bush was talking about that, the payroll tax expansion, the first time he talked about Social Security reform.
But Jonathan Alter and Bill Press, are they going to be able to get anything done?
Well, you know, first of all, the idea that the minimum wage increase, which, as Terry says, is basically a done deal after the first of the year, that's going to somehow hurt the economy. The last time they had a minimum wage increase was 9 years ago in 1997. Remember what happened that year? Biggest boom in American history gets going. So this idea that somehow the minimum wage is terrible for the economy.
You don't know that one caused the other.
No. But the idea that somehow it's going to shut down, hurt small business so badly and everything, it's not borne out by the facts. America does deserve a raise at this point.
We have many
ballot initiatives. The people really did speak on this issue, Michelle. You had not only
we don't put price controls on gasoline, we don't put price controls on produce. Why do we put them on
because since the New Deal, there's been a sense that the people at the bottom end needed some help in this country, and that the market works great in a lot of ways, but doesn't always protect people at the bottom.
Michelle, let me jump in here, too.
Go for it.
The minimum wage, look, it's just a decent thing to do. It's obscene for these members of Congress to give themselves 9 pay raises totaling $30,000.
Agreed. They shouldn't get any pay raises at all. I agree.
Yeah, but the guy at the bottom should. I mean, you try working on $5.15 an hour. I wouldn't want to do it.
$5 an hour. These guys who stand by the side of the road, illegal immigrants who are doing work, who are doing construction work, they're making $9, $10, $15 an hour. Well, I know they are. They're not making minimum wage.
Yeah, but the guys who are legal, that's the problem. The Americans who are legal, who are working these grunt jobs, the only jobs they can get are getting the minimum wage. It's a decent thing to do, to raise the minimum wage. But I just want you to relax about this bipartisanship. It's not going to last, Michelle. You know what? In fact, it's already falling apart. George Bush said the first thing he wants is congressional approval for the NSA spying program. He's not going to get it. And he wants John Bolton back at the UN. He's not going to get it. So I think we can all be happy that once they get down to the real issues, they're gonna be Republicans and Democrats just like they've always been.
John Harwood, wasn't it? It was Michael Douglas who said gridlock is good, right? Are we going to get it finally here?
Terry, you ticked off a bunch of things that some on the right won't like about places the Bush administration might make deals with Congress. I want to know who are the big conservatives in Washington who are going to stand up and stop them. It's not clear to me who in either the House and the Senate have the clout to do that.
Well, John, it's a very good question. There's a big leadership race that's coming up in the House next week. Mike Pence, who's a very staunch fiscal conservative, maybe the best fiscal conservative in the entire House of Representatives, is being supported by the conservative movement for that leadership position. He'll definitely fight hard. Mitch McConnell...
But Terry, John Boehner's staff told me this afternoon we've already got the votes.
Well, we'll see next Friday. The vote is not next Friday. On the Senate side, you have Mitch McConnell, the Republican conservative from Kentucky. He's going to rise up to be the minority leader. I think he'll be very tough. I tell you, if President Bush tries to make a deal with Democrats to increase taxes, he will go to war with his own party in Congress, and he will go to war with his own base in the country.
But that's not what the deal is going to be, Terry. The deal will be to shift the tax cuts from the rich to the middle class. And that's going to be a very hard deal politically to resist, because they're going to take some of that money, they're going to use it for the alternative minimum tax relief or other middle-class tax relief. So it won't be for spending or for tax increases. It'll be to shift the fairness of the tax system. I think they'll cut a deal on that sometime in the next couple of years.
Although, Jonathan, a lot of the people who are getting hit by the alternative minimum tax have fairly high incomes.
Yes, they do, and that's another reason why that will sweeten this potential deal. But Charlie Rangel has already said he wants to do something about the AMT, and I think you're going to see grounds for some cooperation. Are they going to get along all the time? No, they're going to be at each other. They're going to be vetoes. There's going to be plenty of partisanship. But I think at the end of the day, you're going to see 4 or 5 things that they do together, and then they go in that presidential library George W. Bush will build, and with the help of Democrats.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to have to cut it off there, but you're sticking around for a good chunk of the show so we can keep discussing other issues.
Okay.
Great panel. Coming up, the GOP's immigration